guys and girls, Jokester here, bringing another episode of Direwolf20 Pack, brought to you by FTB. We are in our new field, strawberry fields forever. No, these are canola fields. And what I have done is, let me step back here to give you kind of an idea. So I built this little pergola. I worked hard to get double the amount of greenhouse glass. Still got a long way to go. I got to double that yet again. That's a lot of stuff, a lot of resources. So I have planted three. I made myself a farming station, and I have planted three of them. Let me show you this configuration here. So three of them are canola, and one of them is potato. And initially I had trees in here, and I just cranked through and got a whole bunch of logs and just oak wood, right? It filled up a drawer. Said good enough, and I swapped it out for another canola seed because I'm trying to keep up with my canola oil usage, and yeah, it's tough. It's tough. So the greenhouse grass is indeed helping, but we need to do something about the hoe. So I've gone through several hoes, and we're going to do something about that right now. And as you can see, I've moved this, and it's been kind of growing back sporadically. And let's see, anything else? No, nothing out here. Nothing out here. What I have done, though, is I have moved all of my canola farm from here upstairs, obviously, and the generation back into here. And so what I have is, if you just look at half of this, so I have the canola press in the middle, and the canola comes down. This is right where the farmer is. And so it comes down in here, populates into here, and then it comes out on a different channel and can feed this. This is if there's any overflow. Yeah, let's just say there's never any overflow. So the canola press then gets it, and it feeds all four of these. And these guys, they sometimes work and are filled up, but mostly they aren't. And then they pump their oil over here, and that pumps in, that generates electricity, right? And all four of those. And then I doubled it yet again. And so all the wiring here is necessary, right? I got power coming out of here, and this is all self-contained over here, and then power comes in here, right? And it feeds the capacitor bank here. And so while this is staying full, it's primarily because of my other passive generation, not because of that farm. It's just the farm wastes energy left and right. So we want to do something about that. So I'm going to do a couple things today. First thing is that I have made a unbreakable, so I was tired of replacing it. So this is a common tactic to use, is to make an unbreakable item. So I just made I'm going to make another mattock, right? So I have both an axe and a shovel in case I put the wood back in there. So what I want is a mattock. Where is it? There it is. All right, so let's get that out of there. So we want this in here, we want this in here, and this in here, and that makes us a paper mattock. Of course, paper mattock has very low durability, which is 6. And we are then going to put it back in here with these guys. These are the reinforcements, and that is fairly simple. It's just this blank cast of gold. So we just took everything off the tinker's table and just cast this. That makes a blank plate. Takes 2 ores per, and then surround it with obsidian. Do that 5 times, and we get, this is reinforced. Okay, so we have 5 modifiers. Now then it was 4. Now I'm down to 3, and so we got reinforced 2, reinforced 3, 4, and lastly is unbreakable. So easy peasy. So now we have an unbreakable axe. Very simple. Very common tactic to use in this device. And so cool. Now now it'll go through and it will harvest all kinds of good stuff. And I've set up the sequencer. In this case, I want it to run very fast, but run often and run for a long time. So that's the way I've set it. And it's still kind of tweaking it, but that saves a ton of power because this guy uses 100 RF, and it's because I have the octadic capacitor in here. Okay, so that's enough about that. Ooh, spilled. Okay, so we've got the unbreakable one in there. That's good. It's cranking along. It's now getting us some, right? But see, this is empty, but this has got stuff in here now, so that's good. So now we're slowly filling that up, and these guys will now start to fill, right? And They don't seem to be keeping up, but we are also filling up. Yeah, none of these have any backlog, but we are starting to fill this up, which is all good, right? So that works out pretty well. The problem is that each of these take a little bit of energy, right? So these, I think it's these, no, this one, yeah, this one takes energy, right, to convert. So it takes a little bit of energy, and then these all kick in, and then it starts burning, and it just uses up every bit that I've created. And so that's just kind of a fundamental flaw with it. I need to power it off of a different supply. So essentially not have it self-contained. Because this guy takes energy, just to create it, it's only a little bit more than one of these guys. So I need to have either a separate device to power that, or I'm going to try to get a little bit smarter. So this is a power monitor. If you haven't seen this before, it's a very simple, straightforward. It's electrical steel, one energy conduit, machine chassis, and the conduit probe. Conduit probe is very straightforward, all the stuff that we've already know how to make. And so what this does is it will allow us to go over here and put this on. I'm going to put it right here. All right, so this is now touching the capacitor bank. And I want to say the input is on redstone mode. And I'm going to come in here and say, all right, so this gives us all our stats, how much is coming in and going out and all that good stuff. But in here, I want to say when it's less than, I don't know, let's say 50%. Yeah, let's do, when it's less than 50%, then stop giving a redstone signal. Otherwise, you know, or start giving a redstone signal when it's 99, the opposite. Emit it. There we go. So emit the redstone signal when it's 50% less than, and when it's 99% stop. Okay, and so then we've set this guy to be only work with redstone signal. And so once it gets below 50%, right, then it will kick on again, right? It'll start accepting in, which then means that it will drain the buffer up here. So what this is going to do is it's going to fill up as much as it can. It's going to say, hey, I'm empty here, at least in theory. These are all full. I don't need to trickle charge this guy, and I don't need to run constantly, and it will hopefully help our base. Now, we also have the outside feeding it, you know, the windmill and the, what do you call it, the watermill. Right, those are feeding these guys, and so overall we have just a subtle amount of energy needs, and it's really those guys back here. Right, those guys back here are what's using up the power. So they're self-contained as well as needing a little bit extra from what I'm using. Now I have nothing else that is using power unless there's power drain on here, which I don't think there is. There's no power drain on this guy over here. I did move this here in the wall, by the way. So I don't think there's any power drain there. So yeah, so that's what we're going to do to hopefully curb our power usage and maybe sort of build up a buffer in these guys, right? So it looks like we are starting to build up a buffer, and that helps, right? So now we're actually producing more than we're using. So that's our first step. We might actually rewire and power these guys here off of the renewable energy outside and have these just crank out, and that should shut down our trickle usage as well and stop our corn, or you know, our canola usage. My whole point though is that I've got a 15 by 15 field, 3/4 of it dedicated to canola, effectively 2/3 of that portion that is canola is under greenhouse glass, and unfettered, without doing clever things, I can't produce enough canola to keep that thing running. So we might be looking at something a little bit different for power gen. It's constantly fighting me. It's constantly fighting me. Okay, so that's cool. That's cool. What I want to do next is, hold on, what am I doing? Okay, there we go. I want to do a painting machine. Why? Because I got things like this. I don't want to see that stuff. I don't like it. I don't like it. So we want a painting machine. In case you guys haven't seen the painting, oh, not the decoration, we want the actual one. We're going to need this, this, this. So I don't think I have any of this, but we will in a second. And, oh, I need the quartz. Give me some of that. Let me grab a stack, and we'll dump it in our working chest. So I really wish I could hook up a crafting station to like a drawer controller and have it see this whole inventory. That would be epic. I mean, how cool would that be? That would solve all my problems. Then we wouldn't have to go into different tactics to do other stuff. All right, so I will have to wire this up, but yeah, so we just need some power in the back there, and that is just one cable. Oh, the other thing is let me show you something. In case you didn't know, this is very rarely used. It's known by some people, but it's very rarely used. So let's say you have a power cable here. All right, and this is powering here, right? Well, actually, it doesn't even matter if this is. Let me take this out. So you have a power cable that's in place, and it's a long run, and you don't have to break and replace it with the next tier. All you have to do is just right-click with your second tier or third tier on the older one, and it automatically switches. So what it did was it pulled out this one, put this one in, and of course now it connects to those two. So now our painting machine is getting power. So that's very, very cool. So let me dump those away. And I'm going to not need that anymore. I'm slowly whittling away into this wall, so I'm gaining more and more of my wall texture. And so I'm going to close this off. So I want this to be self-contained back here and doing all the stuff. Now we are still working towards. I talked about what we want to do. Oh, let's make some stuff real quick. Some conduit binder. So in here we take the conduit binder and we make this. And it turns into a conduit facade. All right, so let's make a bunch of these. We'll go ahead and use all these, and we will get 7 of these. Now, what I can do is, let's say we want to take this texture right here of this marble. So we'll grab one of these marble, all right, and so we go over here to the painting machine, and so here's our blanks. We put our blanks in there, right? And what do you want to paint it as? Paint it as this, and I'm just going to do one for right now so I can show you. All right, so we take this, and now it used to be that you could right click on a block, and that doesn't work anymore. So you actually have to click on the conduit itself, and there you go. Now that cleans it up. Now I can't see underneath there as much. I still can't do anything about this or this, but at least I can start cleaning up where all the conduits are and where I don't want to see it. And I think that was the main one that I had to worry about. Oh, there's one right there. So we're going to do another one of those, and we probably want it to be the exact same thing. So let's do one more, and there we go. So we will place this guy. Let's see if I can get in there. Nope. Oh, that's right. You can't actually look past that, even though it looks like you should be able to. So all I should have to do is do that, and there we go. So that covers that up much, much nicer. So I'm going to go ahead and leave these in here because whatever I need to paint with, I can just bring along with. Now, where were we headed? In the long-term plan is to have some better food, right? It's a small thing, but if we look at actual additions, we said we're going to go for these fish and chips. The fish and chips is fish. We've got a bunch of fish up there. We'll have to automate doing something with that. French fries. We need baked potatoes. Well, we now have potatoes, right? That's what I set up the farm for. The other thing is the paper cone. And we have quite a bit of these sugar canes, right? 130, that'll last quite a while. I did add a upgrade. You might say, emerald, oh my gosh. Well, if you look at, I have 113 emeralds. I only have 6 diamonds in here, and where are they? And 61 here. So 66, 67 diamonds, and I have almost double the amount of emerald. So yeah, I'm making things out of emerald right now, and I have a renewable way of getting emerald. So yeah, so we have sorry, not 130, 539 sugarcane. There we go. And so we have 539 sugarcane, and so that's quite a bit to make our paper. But let's make it renewable. And for that, we want to get into a new mod. Refined storage. Well, we're going to do the bare minimum, right? We're not going to create a full storage system. We just want to do the bare minimum. And for that, we need a controller. And a controller is just a machine casing, which is this quartz-enriched iron, a diamond, and some silicon. And then we'll go ahead and make our controller. Cool. Now, what we also need is we want a destructor. This is how we're going to auto-harvest our sugarcane. In order to get a destructor, though, we need this we need this improved processor, which means we need this printed improved processor, which requires a solderer. And same thing for this. We need the basic processor. So not a problem. We just need the solderer. So let's get a solderer. All right, and so that's pretty straight. So I'm going to make one of these. All right, and we've got a controller, and so we can put this anywhere we want. And for short term, I'm going to put it right here. Oops, right there, and it gets power. And then what I can do is I can place this right in front. Okay, and I can now take some of my iron that I just, let's grab this, and we're going to throw one of the iron right in here. We are finished, and so then all we have to do is, I think we're going to need redstone. Yes. So let's just go ahead and look here so we don't have to remember. And so that is, yes, oh, that's right. We need redstone with that printed silicon. Okay, so let me grab some redstone. So we need 1, 2, should be all I need. Of course, I'm going to say, oh, I thought I didn't realize I needed that. Oh, well. So we'll do that guy. And there's our last one. Okay, let's get over here and see if we can make that destructor now. Yay? Yes. Excellent. All right, I have a destructor, and then I knew that I want to do this here. Now I'm going to need a, oh, that's a new texture. Cool. Okay, so I need a construction core, which needs an iron, a destruction, which needs another iron, and then the gold. So basically double that, and I'm going to have to use some chests. I already got the cable, already got the iron. Okay, let me make this. And external storage is done. Okay, now the other way you could go, and I'm going to do external storage and a chest, and the other way you could go is like, let's say with a 1K storage block. It's actually a bit cheaper. You only need one of these basic processors. It's just some refined quartz and a 1K storage part, which is just some silicon. So the glass and a little redstone and the quartz enriched iron. So it's actually a little bit cheaper doing it that way to use its own internal block. Now I will need this guy here. I don't need the solder, and I will need a way to power this. Now there's a couple different ways, but I think I'm going to go with this. I want to do the immersive engineering way. So if we come over here, what I can do is I can set up a, how about if we do the controller right here, okay? And then we are going to set up the external, so it already had power, right? Don't be confused, it needs more power. So I'm going to give this, hold on, shift, there we go. I'm going to give this power, and I just so happen to linking from here to here, good. So it's going to get persistent power from there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the external storage on here. Come on, shift. There we go. And then I'm going to put the chest, yeah, there we go, behind it. Now this doesn't look right, and you would be correct in saying it isn't right. Well, what we can do is just hit this with a wrench. And so now all of a sudden it is using this as its storage, okay? And so we can look in here, right? We'll go over it a little bit more in depth, but this is essentially, I've got one external storage, and we've got this zero usage right here because it doesn't take any power. So what next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a destructor on here, and same thing, hit it with a wrench. Now this is, we have to worry about how it's connected with the controller. It might auto harvest this, but that is what we want, and so we want it facing that way. If I were to face this, if I hit it a couple more times, it might face down and break this block. So we have to worry about that. So the other thing is sometimes it needs to know what it's allowed to harvest, like a whitelist. There we go. And so you can put that in there. And you might say, oh, hey, this isn't, get out of there. Why isn't this working? Well, there's other settings over here. Ignore, type items, mode whitelist, compare damage. So let's just make this pick up items instead of breaking. No, we want it to break. Compare or dictionary. No. Compare MBT. No. Compare damage. Nope. Whitelist, blacklist. Nope. Types, redstone signal. Nope. It's not doing anything, and that could be for one of many reasons. It could be that the chest needs to go in there, or that it was just doing weird stuff. It's weird, right? The other thing is beware that if you have, you'll notice that I have chunk loaded, right? I have chunk load claimed and chunk loaded. Well, you're going to have a conflict with that. Oops, didn't want that. FTB utilities will conflict with this with block breaking. So what I had to do was type in this command /FTB team config ftbu.fakeplayers true. Basically, it's allowing fake players, which is what this is, to operate, to break blocks. And so, yeah, expect that you might have to do something like that as well. That's not quite ready yet. So what that's going to do now is harvest all of this. So let's say, and yes, it's going to be slow, but it's going to be fast enough for our needs. We're not going to be eating that often. So if it grows, it's going to be harvesting. Right? That's all it does. And it's going to dump it in this chest right here. Ta-da! That's it. That's our whole setup for automating sugarcane, that is. And of course, I can just go in here and take all these and store it in here. Okay, so let's check our checklist now. We have, let's look at our recipe. Let's look at our recipe here. Fish and chips. We're going to be British for the day. We need paper, which comes from either rice or sugarcane. We've automated it with sugarcane, so check. Potatoes. We have potatoes. We're going to have to cook them up, and the knife. Now the knife has durability to it. We're going to need some leather and some sticks. I don't anticipate having to automate leather. I think that making a few of these knives and having them ready to be crafted, that'll be fine. The last thing I want to do, though, is we're going to need a crafter in order to get ready for this. So let's get a crafter. So there's 1, 2, and 3 tiers. I don't think we've shown the crafter in here, so we're going to do this. And then I've already got a bunch of the redstone torches. That's what they're called. And then I'm going to need a whole bunch more of these. That just uses the crafter tier 1 to make a tier 2. And then we're going to make a tier 3 because why not? We can. It's very inexpensive. It's just a couple more crafting tables. So we've got that, and let me give you a quick little synopsis on this. So it allows you to put resources in here and recipes here. I'll show you what that means is I can have it go internal or external. This is external, this is internal. So let's say I want it to go internal. I've got this recipe selected here. I'm going to create a crafting table. When I hit apply, and it's got a recipe now. Now, if I were to put 1, doesn't do anything, 2, 3, and of course, we need this to be next to power. Let's get this out of the way. All right, so it's filling up with power. As soon as I put the 4th one in, it turns it into a crafting table. If I were to put 4 more in there, it puts a crafting table. So that's really cool. So now we've got that. Let's say we wanted a recipe to go external. So let's get rid of this guy. So let's clear this, all right? And so instead, what we're going to do is we're going to say, no, we want chests. And so, but we want it to go external. It's regular external, okay? So now, as I put 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it creates me a chest, sends it external. This here, this here is what you can pipe in and out with. This you can only pipe in. This can pipe out. That's it. You've got a speed, fast, and slow. You've got a redstone on or off. And then lastly is remember and forget. So for instance, if you had, this, if you had this many stacks of equipment or items in here, and you had some iron in here and you wanted 3 stacks of that, right? There's multiple stacks of different things. You could say, remember that. And then when you remove them, and it remembers those, and only those items are allowed to go in there. So, or you can figure it out. So that's it. It's a very straightforward block. So when we come back, we're going to try to make our way towards automating this and getting us some automated food. So with that said, though, it is time that I bid you adieu. So it is harvesting. We are using an Unbreakable, which is good. If I ever put trees back in here, I'm hoping it'll use this first and then go to this. Either way, I don't need this axe anymore now that we've got a paper Unbreakable. So yeah, we're on our way. We're on our way. All right, guys. Well, I have to take leave. I will see you in the next one. Hope you enjoyed this episode. I always hope you enjoy all my episodes, but this one especially. Okay, guys, I will talk to you later, and see you later. Bye!